That all committee members are present. If I could have a motion for the August 13th minutes.
So moved.
It's a proper motion. All of those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. That's unanimous. I do not see any members of the public in the conference room today. Can you just confirm we don't have anyone online for public comment? Thank you very much. So we will go down to our discussion and action items. The first is item B, which is the Act 6-2026 Morris River Drive drain easement. We do have a staff report included in our packet. I have just in the very short time ago, last few moments, understand that this packet is incomplete. And so I know that Lizzie has some information for us. If you would like to update us at this time. With some of the information that we would expect to have seen here. I will say I reviewed it and it was without, so apparently we are missing a specific price that should be included in this documentation. It's my understanding that it is not included today in what we have before us. And so Renee, I know you're like, what are we missing? It's
I know, because I do apologize. Because Andy Fedewa said that him and Dan Dinky were gonna be here, so maybe they're just running a little bit late.
Okay.
But he stated that both of them would be here.
Yeah, my understanding is that there should have been a specific price that is listed in relation to the work that will be conducted. And that was not included within the packet or resolution. And also the easement description is not specific enough in this packet, which is, I'll just be transparent. That's something I would not have understood. I did go over the drawings. I tried to, understand like what portion of land is in here. There is a certificate of survey and so on, but it is the easement description that I'm told needs to be more specific.
There's a drain there right now, isn't there?
I believe so. And there was something in the report that said there was a property that's also, let's see, if you page 1 of the packet, the very last paragraph, it refers to a 10-foot encroachment onto property owned by the country club, an additional 25 feet.
Yeah, I think it's probably for their creek from the pond there.
Yeah. And there was another portion of the packet that speaks to something that was built over the city drain, and that will need to be addressed as well in this project. That being said, I mean, we can certainly discuss what we have before us. It would be great if, Andy and his colleague were here to at least help us discuss and understand the specifics of this. So that being said, are there any comments or questions on this item? I am happy to move on to our discussion item in hopes that they will be here so that we can ask more specific questions. If there are any. No, that's fine.
I think what it is maybe that there's a tie-in between the sanitary line there and the storm drain of some kind. From the way it looks and what's highlighted in the packet.
Yeah, there is a highlighted map.
It looks like they're
as well.
Coming at the same or from the same spot.
Mm-hmm. So again, without those folks in the room, it's hard to have any concrete answers in this moment.
Okay.
Well, this is for 2027, so I mean, I don't know that there's a rush if.
Exactly. What we can do, and I'm happy to entertain this if we want to table this until our next meeting so we can thoroughly discuss it. I don't believe that there is any, impending deadline in which we would have to address that, today. So I'm happy to move on with the agenda if we table this until the next meeting.
Sure. Do you
Okay.
need a motion for that?
Yes, please.
I move to table item B.
Thank you. That is a proper motion.
Go ahead.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
I did receive a response from Andy Petewa saying that he was told that it was going to be either tabled or pulled because it
Okay.
wasn't ready, so. And obviously you
Yeah,
got the
and again, this
conversation
was
from Venker, so.
Very last
okay.
minute
Yep.
information walking
So,
into this meeting. I would
Okay.
just to address it, if this type of situation happens again, it would be helpful to have them connect with the chair of any committee so that we can have them here, at least ask some preliminary questions, and that way we can go into our next discussion and maybe be able to take some action at that next meeting.
You want it tabled for the
Yeah.
10th?
No, we will address this at our next meeting, but just in the future, if a situation arises where, maybe the packet we've received is.
I wasn't aware that
Yeah.
it wasn't, so.
Exactly.
But-
So we'll just work on
I
that.
think you're more talking about Andy right now.
Yeah, that piece
yeah,
of communication,
so.
just that, I'd still appreciate for those folks to attend, even if it's
Yep.
just for a few minutes.
Yeah. I will
and then we
make sure
can-
that they're here. And on another note, I know you guys are gonna get ready to talk about the priorities.
Mhm.
Our next meeting, is September 10th. And then we also have one September 24th for the budget priorities.
Mhm.
We will not have another council meeting until after the 10th.
Mhm.
So right now, we don't have anything on there unless you want this act to be on that or on the 24th. It's up to you.
Okay,
Because budget priorities would be the only thing if needed for the 10th.
I
So
see.
Just letting you
Okay.
know,
I would be okay with moving all of this out to the second meeting because there's nothing on here for the 10th. And then just having one meeting in September, we can button up these budget priorities then before council and
I
do this.
agree. We won't have any referrals prior to the 10th. Let's handle it. And yeah, great that we're discussing this now so that we can be prepared, everyone involved will know when to show and we will have some really concrete stuff to move on. So September 24th then would be our next meeting for Committee on City Operations. Thank you for bringing that up, Renee. I appreciate that. Moving on to item 5C, a discussion for budget priorities. We did have 4 priorities that were brought up in our most recent meeting. And those were submitted by Councilmember Cost. And those include funding sidewalk repairs, I'm sorry, I'm drawing a blank, wastewater treatment
Wastewater treatment.
investment, adding recycling bins in the parks as a pilot program potentially, and then creating a strategic fund for maintenance and upkeep of historic pools, which, we discussed, the reasonings, the context behind all of that at our most recent meeting. I did have one additional budget priority that I would like to submit for consideration. This committee, and I know that it's not a topic on our agenda today, but this committee has dealt with, discussions concerning a potential street renaming and impacts that it will have on our community. There is a financial impact that residents and businesses will incur. From our most recent discussions, I guess I can use the Chavez Avenue as an example of that, right? And in real time, kind of the considerations that we are taking and understanding that it does create a real impact. It creates a barrier for our local businesses, for our residents, and as they try to brace for that. We have received some polling information, some anecdotal information on the average amount, a dollar amount that would impact a business, that's along that particular stretch. So in the spirit of that, this is, certainly considering our most recent activity, but also this may not be the, the only or last, right? We can't predict what may happen in the future. And so I would look to the committee to help me word this budget priority if you have some suggestions, but I thought it would be helpful to include some assistance to local businesses affected by a street name change. I ballpark would think, in terms of our overall budget, it is a low dollar amount. I'm looking at about $20,000 to $25,000 as a source that potentially businesses could submit for, a particular dollar amount. Once those funds are depleted, they would be depleted. I don't necessarily see this as an ongoing budget item, but certainly for this coming year and some of the activities that have happened more recently, I would like to find a way to include that as a budget priority.
And perhaps it could be, I'm sorry,
No, please go ahead.
it could be something like a emergency reserve fund for a street name change. I don't want to do that because if anybody changed the name of a street, not,
Right, yeah, it could open up to a larger, to expand that capacity. What does that look like? And then,
For assistance for,
mhm.
or maybe a strategic plan.
A
Or-
strategic fund or,
Well, if we have, so the fund, I think, could always happen through what we have in our reserves, because it's such a small dollar amount. I don't think that that would mess with our percentage there that enough to notice. But I think maybe what would, and this is just my opinion, but if we had a strategic plan for, let's say that Chavez, let's use a different example. Let's use
let's
use capital.
Yeah,
They've decided we're going
anecdotally.
to change capital. At that point, the strategic plan would be set into motion where the money would become involved, which would include the mayor's office, sending us there would be steps. And,
Mhm.
like one of the steps would be the mayor's office is sending us a budget request for the dollar amount, which then triggers the money to be put into this aid fund for businesses to be able to help them get through, businesses and homeowners to be able to get through this, or to fund maybe a temporary position to be able to catalog everyone that is affected by it and address their concerns if they can, like
Mhm.
almost a concierge
Mhm.
service type thing.
Yeah, or
That makes
some
sense?
type of liaison to help like administer it. And we've had those, I came to this and I've been thinking about it a lot, like what can we do to assist? And we've sort of run the gamut of ideas, right? And in those, some of those community meetings, like, is it someone to assist those folks? Is it, that they apply for funds in some manner?
Or
to
reimbursement
assist, or-
program.
Yeah, reimbursement is,
Because I think nobody will have the same fixed cost.
correct. Yeah.
Because, my business cards might be cool looking and, your business cards might be more professional looking, I don't know, just depends on the business.
I really like the concept of a reimbursement program for impacted businesses and residents
I think that way we know that the money is actually getting spent on
On that
those
specific-
necessary things,
yes.
rather than,
Mhm.
I'm buying whatever, or more stock, or, we just didn't do anything. Because I don't want to get in that situation where someone really gets into a pickle, like their social security check doesn't come because they took that money, but didn't make any of the changes, right?
Yeah. I mean, there could be a
Could be a
variety of,
variety of things.
a variety of things that
Yep.
occur.
And it gets tricky too, how that would work. I would love to have some time to I love the idea.
Mhm.
Maybe we have a month.
Yeah,
Creatively,
definitely.
work out
think
a
about
wording for
that.
that.
Yeah, and Lizzie, if legally, if you have anything to offer there, like what, we can do, or if there's any verbiage that maybe would not be helpful that we come up with, certainly if you have any
I think this one would be heavily asking I mean, they're all asking the administration.
Yeah.
I mean, this would be heavily reliant upon the administration want to do these things, right? Because it's a budget question and then I'm sure the administration, maybe through Delisa's department would do reimbursements. I don't know.
Yeah, I can certainly, I'll bring it to everyone and we can discuss, especially since you all have a month now to
Yeah.
figure it out and we can figure it out.
We'll meet you when September ends.
What I have then, what I will do is because we always do a draft and
Sure.
update it and I'll put your name next to it. I mean, obviously they're just drafts, but I just have to create a strategic plan and reimbursement program for impacted businesses and residents
After a street name change.
after, okay.
Yes, I think that kind of
Okay.
closes the loop on the idea.
Yeah,
It's so rare that, I mean, this really is a good idea. It does happen rarely.
okay,
Right.
all right.
I think I had, what, two major street name changes I can think of in the last, Cesar Chavez and
15
MLK.
years,
Yeah.
or 20
Yeah.
years, 25,
It's
more
been a
than
long
that,
time, yeah.
35 years maybe.
MLK has been MLK for a very long time.
One question I do have, Councilmember Cost, related to the ideas that we have on here. Do you happen to have any dollar amounts that you'd like to propose?
So I don't, and and here's just my thought process behind it, the strategic fund for maintenance and upkeep of the historic pools.
Mhm.
I don't know how much that dollar amount is, and I don't want to like
Throw out an arbitrary number. Yeah.
that isn't even close to what the historic, what Hunter Park or Morris Park needs. And I think the other question would be for legal on this. If there is a strategic fund for maintenance and upkeep of historic pools, I assume along with city money, we could also solicit donations from corporations or businesses or people for that as well, like philanthropic,
Philanthropic.
thank you, money.
Without knowing the exact answer, I believe we could, but I will look
Okay.
into it.
Well, perfect. We got a month.
Yeah.
I won't say it again. And then the recycling bin program, again, I don't know what the rollout cost is on that. It might be lower than we think. It might be higher than we think. The wastewater treatment investment, I mean,
Again, right?
I could put $1 billion on there, it wouldn't be enough.
Sure.
And then the sidewalk repairs, we did 1 million this
I
year,
believe so. Yeah.
so I would crank it up.
Two or,
I
okay.
would go to 2. I mean, we were doing 250,000, then we increased it 500,000, but I mean, Andy Kilpatrick came and told us we need
Correct.
12 million a year.
It needs
Yeah.
more of a,
So even if we don't get 2 million, I think we should probably still ask for 2
Well,
million.
I will at least put that in there.
okay, thank
Just
you.
update
I know
it
we're not
for-
gonna get 12. Because I'd ask for 12. And I think maybe, the other part of that is 2 million in sidewalk repairs, but also I think there's an educational piece to this because I think the sidewalk repair program itself,
Mhm.
or how do I replace my sidewalks? Who's responsible? Who pays what?
Sort of informational campaign.
Correct, because I think there's a lot of confusion around how that process works, because there are instances where the city tree causes the damage, the city pays for it 100%, but you're on a very long waiting list. Versus if you want to replace sidewalk, it's my understanding the city will go 50/50s with it.
Correct.
But that's, even if your sidewalk didn't technically need it, they'll do the 50/50 if you want new sidewalk.
Mhm. Yeah, so long as the
I think
property
I'm-
owner puts in their share, they'll sort of
Yes.
match that. Yeah.
So it would be good to get an educational piece on that so people understand how that all works. Because I get a lot of sidewalk complaints and I totally get it. And, even like going down Michigan where it hasn't been repaired, redone, in front of like the funeral home there by your house, kind of. I see wheelchairs struggling all the time trying to get over those bumps. I just had one in front of me the other day, and that's kind of what,
Yeah, so now the budget request then would be funding sidewalk repairs and informational campaign.
yeah, an informational campaign.
Gotcha. Okay.
And we may even play a role in that by inviting Andy Kilpatrick, perhaps the beginning of, people typically talk about the sidewalks in the spring, like my sidewalk
As
is
the
jacked.
snow is thawing, as the ice is going away, and then, yeah, because that's a result of that most recent winter weather, right? Now
Yeah.
we're seeing the impacts of that. Same with potholes and you name it.
I mean, the only
So.
time I think about my sidewalk and how uneven it is when I'm shoveling and I hit that unevenness with my shovel and you can feel it in your bones. But
Yeah.
that's a angry thought that doesn't need to be shared.
Do we have any additional budget requests to include today in the list?
Just that one.
Just the one? Okay. All right, with no further business on the agenda, we are adjourned at 4:20.
Go Vikings.
Vikings. Thanks. My husband will not approve